Nazo sekunjalo. Yes, it's another exciting edition of your favorite show here on Level Set. Yes, it is 90 minutes, proudly brought to you by B3 Insurance Brokers and Funeral Services for service beyond Ubuntu. I think it's the excitement today of the CAF Champions League draw and everything. The tongue is already getting twisted, and it's only the intro. Yes, Bafana have been drawn in the same group as Namibia, Ivory Coast, and Morocco. So will they make it out? I'm not too sure. On the other side, we have Orlando Pirates and Liverpool flying top of their various leagues there as well. Liverpool took a fantastic lead against Chelsea FC, and then Orlando Pirates also did the business against Free State Stars. UEFA Champions League, yes it is. UEFA Champions League week as well there. Who will make it through? Will Manchester United make a comeback? I think this excitement, I've got to cool it down and hand it back to you guys here on the side of me. Yeah, I think it is because I'm feeling a little bit of Punchy Kicky in the air. I've got one of my RAs back in studio, and he's got an exciting announcement to make as well there. I think maybe he gave me a blow before the show, and I'm still getting my tongue adjusted there. I've got Mr. Punchy Kicky himself, Mr. Mark Jubert. How are you doing?
Hey, so great to be back. It's so awesome to be back in studio.
It is good to have you as well there. And then we've got the RA of RAs, Mr. Milo, Ramu. Shaba. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing my excellent. Thanks. I'm back in the midfield today. I'm not alone. I've got my right winger here. Looking forward to hearing obviously what he has from a Punchy Kicky point of view.
Yeah.
But yeah, the football was amazing this weekend. Mo Salah was probably one of the best goals I've seen in a while from him. So really looking forward to getting stuck into the action, because what a week we have waiting for us ahead.
Definitely, what a week of action we have waiting ahead. We've got PSL action, you've got UEFA Champions League action, so much to unpack. But besides that, I just want to pack up football for a brief couple of seconds and put it to the side, because the man I introduced first is the man there. I'm sure if you look in front of his system there, he's got something very special. We've got a new addition to the Level Set family. Yes, you've been seeing him here first on 90 Minutes. Don't go and switch over to him, viewers. Let's share the viewership a little bit here. Yes, we've got a new show that is set to be premiering very soon. You've got to stay tuned to Levels. I won't give you the exact date because I still want you here on 90 Minutes. Yes, it's the Punchy Kicky show with Mark Jobert. He's going to be giving us everything combat sports. That's why we call him the combat sports analyst. Mark, how are you once again? And please tell us, what's the show going to incorporate? What's the show going to be about? I know it's going to be about blood and what.
No, let's not go there.
I'm misleading the viewers already.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to keep them here, that's why.
Exactly.
I'm trying to keep them here, that's why.
The football, huh?
But basically, tell us about Punchy Kicky.
So the Punchy Kicky show, I mean, we've been talking about this for a number of months now.
Yeah.
But the Punchy Kicky show is going to start Monday.
Yeah.
Looking forward to bringing all the viewers out there as much as we possibly can in terms of all the combat sports that's taking place around the world. We're talking MMA, we're talking kickboxing, we're talking boxing, Muay Thai, judo, karate, everything we can find on Punchy Kicky around the world. Going to bring them as much as we possibly can, keep them informed, keep them in tune, and get as much insight and analysis from as many subject matter experts as we can. Referees, former fighters, current fighters, new athlete, guest interviews, up-and-coming stars. It's going to be
Sounds
wicked.
exciting. So you'll have live people in studio as well?
100%.
To come and talk about what's
First
going
show,
on.
already got 2 champions lined up.
Okay.
Got a former champ lined up. So much coming for that first show.
Sure. Sounds
Definitely
exciting.
looking forward to that one. But tell us about the results from this past weekend. I heard of some exciting fights from around the world.
Super wicked weekend of Punchy Kicky. I'm going to start off with MMA. It was a simple case of out with the old and in with the new for the most part. You had 4 major title fights taking place. We're going to start with UFC 236.
Yeah.
You had 2 interim titles taking place. So you got Dustin Poirier. He was taking on Max Holloway. Max Holloway hoping to cement his legacy in UFC folklore, trying to go up a weight division and take on Dustin Poirier for the interim lightweight belt. Didn't quite work out for Max Holloway. It was a bit of a bloodbath. Dustin Poirier just proving to be far too strong, and ultimately coming away with the unanimous points or the unanimous decision victory. It then makes him the 18th interim champion that the UFC have put together in their short while, if we can call it that the sport has really been at this top level.
Yeah.
Before that, in the co-main event, you had an African son. You're talking about Israel Adesanya out of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Him coming up against Kevin Gastelum. Okay, that fight, absolutely a wicked fight there. We're looking at that for the interim middleweight strap. Now, the winner of that fight, okay, there was a lot to be said about who they were going to fight next. But Israel Adesanya, many people thinking, was he going to keep his own? Remember, he came into this fight 16-0.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, I mean, if we look back at that fight, 2 knockdowns in the second round. He got a bit of a headache maker, kick to the head in the fourth. Okay, dropped Castellan twice in that final round, and that final round is probably going to go down as one of the greatest final rounds in any title fight. And ultimately winning that interim belt. So he was the number 17 UFC interim champion. And then if we move to EFC 78, that took place right here, Cape Town, South Africa. We had JP Bass looking to become the undisputed bantamweight champion. And boy, he did, by TKO over Lutando Biko. And before that, many people did not expect. We're talking about Zulu. He was going to be defending his flyweight belt for the umpteenth time.
Yes.
Up against a young professional. Only fought 3 times as a professional. No one, I didn't. I was amongst many people thinking this youngster's not going to come out of Birmingham and take this belt away. And true as nuts, 5 rounds later, you've got Jake Hadley, the new flyweight champion of the EFC.
Wow.
Can I see some of these fights on YouTube? It'll be nice to have a look at some of the punches and knockouts, because the way he's describing them seems like something.
Yeah, you get onto the EFC.
Never mind
check it
YouTube.
out.
I mean, we've got Punchy Kicky that's coming on.
Punchy Kicky show's going to bring you all those highlights every Monday
But
night.
Mark, can we take a step back? Yes, I know we're talking about EFC now. I just want to go back to UFC. I mean, we're talking about this African influence that is currently happening there. When are we going to see a UFC fight right here on the African continent?
They're talking about it. They've been talking about it for quite a while. I think now with the fact that you have 2 champs out of Africa sitting there now, both Nigerians, the fact that they now, so one is a legit champ and the other one is interim champ. And I talk legit champ because interim belts just get handed out. And I'm starting to think that a little bit too fake and not the real thing. But we understand why you put interim belts together. You now have 2 African champions.
Yes.
Okay. It's only a matter of time. And I think easily within the next year, we should see some announcements as to the very first African UFC event coming to African shores.
All right, I'm definitely looking forward to that one, Mark. We'll talk a little bit more about Punchy Kicky and everything that entails there. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But let's take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, although I know that you're a man of many talents. And let's come back to what 90 Minutes is really about. It's all about the football. And it was definitely exciting stuff when you look on the local front. Orlando Pirates are shot back up and extended their lead to 6 points at the top of the Absa Premiership. I want to ask this question. I'm going to direct it to my RA. He said right at the beginning of the season that he's still going with Mamelodi Sundowns. He said on the last show he's still sticking with Mamelodi Sundowns. But now you're looking at the fixture list of Mamelodi Sundowns. They've got Chippa United, Boraka FC, and then just now they've got SuperSport United. This is a team that is challenging in a small while for the league itself. And then these are 2 teams that are fighting relegation. Can Mamelodi Sundowns really stage a comeback, or is this Pirates Cup to lose?
Yeah, I think for me, I still stay with Mamelodi Sundowns. I think they've got the depth in the squad. We saw when they won the Champions League the first time that enough quality and depth. I think that season they won the Absa Premiership as well. So who's to say that they can't still challenge on 2 fronts? They've got an amazing squad, excellent backroom staff, just to make sure that the players are fresh every time they play. I see, yes, the fixtures are coming in thick and fast, and kudos has to be given to Orlando Pirates to sticking with them. I mean, what's the gap now? 6 points, but Sundowns have 3 games in hand. If they win all those 3, they're 3 points ahead. But yes, we know football is not played on paper, and we know that there's a lot of work still to be done for them to win the league. But I just have a feeling that because they've got the advantage, they will do it this season.
I mean, Orlando Pirates definitely taking full advantage of the fixtures they've been playing, Mark, there. Do you think that there's been a shift in mentality since the 3 coaches have come together?
I definitely think so. I think Orlando Pirates have moved into another gear. As Milo says, I'm not too sure what sort of the jam-packed fixture list is now going to do and pull off against that Sundown squad.
Yeah.
And the other thing we've also got to think about is we've got to think about the scoreboard pressure. You're looking up at the log. Every time Orlando Pirates team look up, they're 6 points behind. You know, and scoreboard pressure when you're in that stage of this final couple of games of the season.
Yes.
It has a big impact on the players in terms of we have to win, we have to win, we have to win. Where they're then maybe not.
Who would you rather be at this stage? Would you rather have the points in the bag?
I'd rather be Pirates right now because it means that you've got to take me out. Yeah. You've got to win everything that's ahead of you.
They can afford to drop 1 point.
Yes.
Or 2.
Can they really though?
They can afford to drop 1.
Because if they win all their games, they're only a point ahead. Meaning that
so
if they drop one, they're 2 points
I think
behind.
Pirates have got Cape Town City as well. So
Yeah.
there's still a long way to go, but yes, games are obviously running out. So yeah, Sundowns have to fly back quickly and start playing their games because Orlando Pirates are definitely putting on the pressure.
Oh, he's not giving up on his Mamelodi Sundowns prediction there. I'll leave it there for now as I take a quick recap at all your results when it comes to the Absa Premiership. We saw Chipa United against Bidvest Vets. We saw Orlando Pirates taking on Free State Stars as well there and winning that game by 2-1. SuperSport took on Polokwane and drew that game there. Black Leopards took on Kaizer Chiefs there, and that was played out to a 1-1 draw. Highlands Park took on Maritzburg United, and there Highlands Park won that game by 1-0. Abafana Best took on Usutu in the KZN derby there, where we saw a 1-1 draw at the Sugar Ray Kulu Stadium rather there. And then we're seeing some exciting fixtures are coming up on Wednesday. Mamelodi Sundowns against Super Sport United. It is set to be the Tshwane derby, and then Highlands Park will take on a Free State Stars. So lots of excitement still ahead there. But before we wrap up the local segment, I've just got a quick question to ask you guys there. Cape Town City, Bloemfontein Celtic. What happened there?
It seems like there was a lot of trouble. I'm hearing the PSL have actually, they're looking into this matter, and it looks like they're going to be fining some of the players. I'm hearing up to 9 people were arrested.
Yes.
There was quite a lot of commotion out in Bloemfontein, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Celtic does, because I mean, we need to root this out of our football fans and crowds of people obviously disrupting the game. I think it was in the 23rd minute that the game had to come to an end, and I'm sure Benny McCarthy would have wanted to get this game over and done with, so they can also challenge for top honours this season. So really unfortunate scenes out in Bloemfontein.
Yeah, I think disgraceful scenes from a sporting point of view. Why we had to get to that level. I mean, what was the trigger that set it off on the 23rd minute? And what were the protests about? It's just the fact that you've got to use rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse the crowd. Shocking scenes.
Really shocking scenes there, and definitely looking forward to what the investigation unfolds there as Bloemfontein Celtic took on Cape Town City, and like Mark said, it only lasted 23 minutes before the game was called off there. But let's quickly switch over to the African continent, where we saw Mamelodi Sundowns taking on Al Ahly there, and they lost by 1-0, but it really didn't mean anything, Mark.
No, not at all. I think we spoke about it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Minor miracle needed to overhaul a 5-0 demolition in the first leg. And sorry, miracles weren't being handed out on that day.
I think it's been, 40 years since they haven't lost by that scoreline.
Yeah.
So it really shows the quality of this Mamelodi Sundowns team to beat an 8 times CAF Champions League team like Al Ahly by 5-1. It's really something.
Really fantastic stuff that happened on the African continent. Mamelodi Sundowns will be through now to the semi-finals. They are just, what do you call it, 2 or 3 steps, or is it 4 steps, because you have to play the final over two legs there before they get that second star. So really exciting stuff for Mamelodi Sundowns there. But can this really be translated to Bafana, who, like we said before, are being drawn in a very difficult group with the Elephants of Ivory Coast, Morocco there, and then, okay, you can say Namibia as well, our neighbors there.
Yeah, tough draw. I mean, Jomosono actually came out the other day to say he doesn't see this as a difficult draw. But in my opinion, I mean, Morocco, Ivory Coast. And I mean, Namibia are not here for nothing. They got to this particular stage, so we can't underestimate them. Yeah. We're going to obviously have to play well in the first game and then take it from there. So no easy teams, and Stuart Baxter definitely has his work cut out for him.
But what needs to happen to this Bafana team, Mark? I've got to ask this question, is that we're probably going to lose against Namibia, because that's what Bafana does, doesn't it? They lose against the teams you're expecting them to beat, and then they'll go and maybe beat a Morocco by 1-0, and maybe lose against an Ivory Coast. How do we do that? It's just one of those questions I keep wanting to ask, but I don't know how to ask it.
I think the problem is professionalism. I think there's a sincere lack of professionalism in that team. Yeah. For some reason, it's stemmed back probably the last 10 years, is that we just haven't been able to consolidate a solid sort of real feel for playing for the South African flag. It always seems to be money issues. There always seems to be some other agenda in there. And if we could just actually put a team together, a management structure behind, a nice, strong sort of background for this team, I think they can go far. There's a lot of learnings to take place. Like you said, what we're learning out of CAF, Sundowns is taking home all of the experience that Pirates have been bringing back. When is that going to translate? So for me, it's a sincere lack of professionalism that's coming through from these players.
Your side?
Yeah, I mean, from a South African point of view, as he said, from playing for our flag, the national pride is at stake. We've gotten to this sport per particular point in the season. And I mean, for South Africa as a whole, I mean, it's a World Cup year from rugby and cricket as well. So we need the South African team to do very well as well. So all the best to them. And I think they definitely, potentially could finish second in this group and go to the next stage.
I mean, you're very optimistic about it. I mean, sure, as the date comes closer and closer, probably my patriotism will come out too, as I believe that Bafana will win the AFCON. But that's hopes I'll probably have in June. But right now, me and Mark are very pessimistic when it comes to the chances of Bafana. And Mark, you said it before, that it seems that there's a mental problem. How did he put it? That there's no professionalism there. What does Stuart Baxter then have to do to his players there? Does he call in the overseas-based players? What do you do? Because we've tried that before. We've played international players alone. They've come out and not been able to perform. We've called in a whole local team there. They've not performed. I'm not seeing the fix here for Bafana. We've been going back to the drawing board for many years now.
Yeah, for me, I think, the PSL needed to get their act together earlier. I think the season maybe needed to be ended a lot earlier than it's ending this year, to be able to allow Stuart Baxter to take those guys aside and spend a lot more time honing the squad. I don't think he's going to have enough time, especially if we look at the fixture list for the PSL, to be able to get the guys ready, give them enough of a break between the two, then to sort of ramp up. Are you're going to be able to get all of those international players back and mold them into what you need them to be? Because remember, they're coming from very professional outfits. Okay. Let me not say that the local setup is less professional. Personal view, I think it is not as professional as those overseas-based setups. But to try and get the harmony between those two, it's a difficult job. And when you get given only a very little amount of time to harmonize and get those guys working as a single unit, it becomes very difficult. You're already up against it then, and then you've got the likes of these two big teams. I'm discounting Namibia, okay, because we should get past them. But the other two, wow, those are tough fixtures.
But for me, guys, I think 80-90% of the squad has to be the team that got off to this particular stage. I mean, I think it would be very unfair to qualify for this particular tournament and 50-60% of the players are not available to play. So take 80-90% of the current crop, and then yes, one or two players within now and the end of the season.
But who is that?
Will come up.
You've had a very young team. You've had a very experienced team. So which is the team that's going to go? Which is the bulk of the team that got them through to this position? I mean, this should have been done and dusted from a sporting point of view, from a South African footballing point of view, long before this Libyan game. I mean, us talking about this months ago, can we, will we, it's last chance saloon kind of stuff. Sure, we got it right. We've gotten there. But for me, there's something missing.
Lots of work for Baxter.
Lots of work for Baxter indeed. And I think we'll close up that topic just for now and come back with more 90 minutes after this short break. Stay tuned.
You know the moment when millimeters become miles, and it's only over when you're over, when try becomes done. It's why you play. Energade. It's what you put in.
A great deal for your business? Get 2 Huawei P8 Lite 2017s for only $999 per month on one 24-month MTN made-to-share S contract. You get 55 gigs anytime data and 1,300 all-net minutes to share with up to 6 users every month. Plus, get free in-group calling and messaging for everyone on your MTN made-to-share group. We got you. Sign up for upgrade at an MTN store today. Everywhere you go.
Time to say goodbye can never be easy. However, at B3 Insurance Brokers, we are there to make it easy for you to live a legacy for your loved ones. For a trusted option, SMS B3 cover to 41233 and be sure to say goodbye in the most dignified and affordable way. B3 Insurance Brokers, proudly 27 years of service beyond Ubuntu. B3 Insurance Brokers is an authorized financial service provider.
You know the moment. It's drive back or be driven over. So you decide where he belongs. Not here. Not in this country. It's why you play. Energade. It's what you put in.
All right, welcome back. If you are just joining us, you know the question I'm about to ask you. Where have you been? You've missed the whole first half of your favorite show here on Level Set. Yes, it is 90 minutes, proudly brought to you by B3 Insurance Brokers and Funeral Services for service beyond Ubuntu. And just to give you a quick roundup of the first half of the show, we talked about Orlando Pirates and the 6-point gap they've established at the top of the PSL. Then we've also got Mamelodi Sundowns, who still have a chance. It's actually still in their hands if they win all their remaining games to clinch another Absa Premiership. And then we went over to Africa to ask the question, can Bafana do it? A lot of work is ahead for Stuart Baxter, is the conclusion we came with there as we get into the second half of the show. And let me start off the second half of the show like this, gents. The last time Liverpool won a major championship, Tiger Woods had won a major as well. Is this a sign? Liverpool did do the business against the Chelsea FC by beating them by 2-0, and coincidentally, Tiger Woods won a major for the first time in I don't know how many years. It was a fantastic comeback on his side there. I think I was hearing before the show he was probably sitting on 6th overnight, and then he came back and won it this morning. So can Liverpool come back and win it on the last day? I'm speaking with passion, Mark, and I can see you looking at me because my blood is red.
My blood is also red, just not Liverpudlian red. I think they can. I think there's a couple of big games ahead.
Yeah.
I think they've got the easier run in between themselves and Man City. I think Manchester United can potentially have a huge say in that when the Manchester derby comes around in a couple of weeks' time. Can United do the unthinkable and knock them off their perch?
Man
City.
Man City.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's once again, it's in their hands. But remember, City have a game in hand.
Yeah.
If they win that game in hand and win everything between now and the end of the season, it's going to be another year that Liverpool supporter cannot pick up anything but a kitchen cup. But you know, it's in each team's hands.
It's in each
Very
team's
similar
hands.
to actually the PSL situation with Sundowns, obviously. But for me, I maintain, I just think Manchester City squad. You know, I always talk about this thing of squad and squad depth. They're grinding out results week in and week out. They're bringing players off the bench who can change things at any moment. And I think if it was any other year, Liverpool would have won the league. They've been absolutely fantastic to keep toe-to-toe with Manchester City. I mean, the points gap when we come to the end of the season is going to be absolutely incredible. But I just feel that Manchester City, with their consistency, with the manager, because I think we're at the point of the season where the manager counts so much, and Pep's experience with all the clubs that he's been at, for me, is just that one factor that they have over Liverpool. So for me, Manchester City will take it.
But definitely something, you have to argue that something has changed in the mentality of that Liverpool squad. So, Manchester United, and I'm going to speak to you and bring you in there because I know that this is a team that's close to your heart as well. They really scratched through their result over the weekends against the Hammers there. Can they pull off the impossible against Barcelona?
I'm hoping. You know, they did it against PSG. A phenomenal result there. The question is, United were without fullbacks this weekend and ground that result out. Supposedly going to have fullbacks, very good squad announced for the journey to Barcelona. But, I mean, you're going to Barcelona to try and overhaul thankfully, only one goal first leg result. If it was 4 or 5, you've got to sit here and honestly, head and heart both go, wow, it's a little bit too much of a mountain to climb, even after the PSG result. But I think with only one goal, I think we've got a chance. I definitely think we've got a chance.
I think the mountain's too high. Unfortunately, that's my honest opinion. I think, yes, I see Sanchez and Matic are back for this particular game, but playing at the
Sanchez,
camp,
do you really count Sanchez now?
and Matic holding midfielder. No, honestly, I just think the quality from a Barcelona point of view will be too much. The ball possession will be incredible. I think, yes, they might be able to score a goal at the most, maybe from a set piece or a penalty, but this is Barcelona, and for me, it's a foregone conclusion. I stand to be corrected, but for me, it's going to be an easy 3-0, 3-0, or 3-1 victory for Barcelona.
Do you guys want to wager anything and put something on the table?
I mean, he's a punchy kicky, so I must watch what I I must watch what I say around.
All right, to keep the peace here, I'll move right along there. We've got another exciting fixture, and a fixture that really surprised me. That's the first leg of it. Juve against Ajax. They had ended as 1-1 there, and it was really an exciting fixture. But many people were saying that Juve probably didn't kick out of third gear as well there. Or are we underrating still this quality Ajax side?
Quality Ajax side. Young players, Neres obviously scoring the goal. Probably one of the bright prospects in the world football at the moment. Ronaldo obviously getting the equalizer with the header. So still hanging in the balance. I think Ajax do have a goal in them. But I just feel going to Turin, I think they're going to have a little bit too much for them. So for me, I'm giving it to Juventus by the odd goal.
You sniffed out an upset the last time you were here. I think it was Boraka FC and Kaizer Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. Aren't you smelling an upset here?
I am. I think that young team, that is the Ajax team, going to Juve, I think they've got a lot of quality. If you look at how they've played in the build-up to get here,
yeah,
they've done some, and they've scored some superb goals. They've gelled very, very nicely together. There's definitely an upset in the air. I'm hoping it's more in the Man United Barcelona game than this one. But you know, head and heart aside, I think this is the one where the upset comes, and I think Juve probably will pack their bags out of the competition come this midweek game.
$100 million will fall, or was it 100 million euros? The price tag for Cristiano Ronaldo will be falling out of the competition tonight, tomorrow night, according to Mark Jopet. Is that the foregone conclusion? Let me link you to our social media pages there and give us your opinion there. You can go to the Twitter page at 90 Minutes SA or drop us an email at 90minutes@levelset.org. Or the best one yet, go to the King's Chat. Just look for the Levelset, a super user, and hashtag 90 Minutes there. And tell us if you're sniffing an upset in this year's UEFA Champions League, a second leg quarter-final. But what is set to be probably the game of the week again, Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, James, I want you to give me your analysis here. What should the approach play be from Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, they came into that game there in fantastic form against Manchester City, not from their previous games, just what they played on the field of play that day there. We saw a more physical Manchester City coming at Tottenham Hotspur, and Tottenham Hotspur almost shrugged them off with a fantastic goal from Sunday. Can we expect the same, or will this blue machine called Manchester City just be too much for the Hotspurs?
For me, I think the whole euphoria around playing at home really worked for them in that first leg. Now they're not playing at home. That euphoria is gone. They're having to travel, so they don't have that 12th and 13th man, if we could call it that, home field advantage, brand new £1 billion stadium that they're playing in. I think the key for Tottenham, and I think they're going to do probably the impossible, but it has been done before. The key for them is to be more physical at City. They've shown every time a team becomes extra physical with City, they freeze. They suddenly are a bit erratic in terms of what their game plan should be. That's the only way I think Tottenham continue to win here. Definitely think City have got 2 or 3 in them at home. Should be a 2-1 cumulative result come the end of Wednesday night.
I'm going differently. Yeah, no, I'm going with Manchester City to win this one, and the biggest reason is Kane. Kane obviously being out. Llorente for me is just not the same player that he used to be. I don't think he can hold up the line from a Tottenham perspective point of view. I think City will. So
shouldn't they play Sunday?
In the false nine, I mean, we saw Chelsea versus Liverpool with Hazard playing in the false nine. I think if it's not your natural position at a high-stakes quarterfinal like this, to be playing in an unnatural position is not going to be what they should do. So I think Manchester City will win it. So I'm going 2-0 for City against Tottenham.
2-0 for City against Tottenham there. Like I said before, you can go to our various social media pages and see if you concur with my analysts here on the table. But Mr. Punchy Kicky, again, you said somewhere on one of these Mondays we will be expecting your show, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Coming up soon. Coming up soon. We'll be talking kickboxing, boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, judo, karate, all of it, as much as we possibly can with as many of the top-end guys that South Africa has to offer. As much Punchy Kicky as we can get.
Will you have me on the show? I've got to put you on the spot. I mean, I've had you on my show numerous times now.
Absolutely, we will, because I think in the second show we need a punching bag.
Oh, wow. And just like that, on that bombshell there, that punchline, I should say, mind the pun with Punchy Kicky, I say thank you, Mark, and to the RA himself there. It's been an absolutely fantastic show. And from myself and the rest of the crew here at the Level Set Studios, it's Eitada.